Hey everybody, Z Garcia here, and today I'm taking a look at these Investigator Starter Decks, standalone products for Arkham Horror, the card game. These come with a pre-built deck for each of these characters and some deck building cards. In this video, we're taking a look at Stella Clark, the Survivor Starter Deck, and she is going to have some very interesting cards in her arsenal. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. Alright, so let's take a look at Stella Clark here, the letter carrier. As you can see, she is got a pretty solid stat line, nicely balanced, 8/8, very good. And then her abilities over here. The first one saying after you fail a skill test, you may take an additional action during this turn, your turn this round. Limit once per round. I really like that, very straightforward. Meaning if you try something and it didn't work out, you could try that again. You could try something else. You get a bonus action. Always useful, just about. You will fail tests. That happens in this game fairly frequently. This, therefore, will pretty much almost every round, ideally not because you want to be winning, but it will happen a frequent amount. So I like that quite a bit. And then her Elder Sign effect, of course, +1. You may instead choose to automatically fail that test to heal 1 damage and 1 horror, therefore, boop, triggering this one, unless you've done it this round already. Nice synergy right there. If you choose to do that and you choose to fail, you heal up, and then you get another action, unless you've already taken it. Now, taking a look at the other side here, we've got her deck building requirements are, just like all the other investigators in this cycle of starter decks, very simple. Survivor cards up to level 5, neutral cards up to level 5. That's it. And then it talks a little bit about who she is. So we're going to take a look at her signature card, or in this case, cards. We're going to take a look at her signature weakness, new basic weakness, and then 5 cards that come in her deck, just to highlight a few. And then 5 cards included for deck building with some XP requirements. So starting with her signature card here is neither rain nor snow. It's going to have, it's a skill with 3 wild symbols, very good. And it has the text, if this skill test fails, cancel all effects of the failed test. So it's basically, you pass some test or you cancel the bad stuff coming at you. I really like that. And you are going to get 3 copies of this in your deck. Very clean. Now, it does go away. You do it, does whatever it does, and it goes away, but it will cancel some nastiness coming your way. I really enjoy that one. One of my favorite signature cards in a character from Arkham, I think. Just for the sake of simplicity and the fact that you are going to see it. You are going to have 3 of these. Then we've got her weakness, the one that must be in her deck, Called by the Mists. Revelation, put Called by the Mists into play in your threat area, and then forced, after you initiate a skill test with a difficulty of 4 or higher, take 1 damage. Nasty. That's going to happen frequently. And then discard this will take you 2 of your actions. Likely one you want to get out of your way pretty soon, because your difficulty of 4 is not that unheard of. So there you go. And then new basic weakness that you could pull out of this deck and put into any deck if you're deck building. It's a Aticophobia here. It's going to be Revelation, put Aticophobia into play in your threat's area. After you fail a skill test, take 1 horror. And again, same deal. Got to discard it for 2 actions. Good. Interesting. You don't want to be failing, and this is going to doubly punish you for failing skill tests. I guess if you can guarantee you're passing things, you don't have to worry about it, but this is going to mess you up for sure. I like it. Again, I love these cards that do something that feels thematic. Fear of failure is what this word means, by the way. So if you fail, you are horrified by your own failures, and it's punishing you. Very good. All right, then we've got here some cards. We've got Will to Survive is a reprint that used to cost some XP. They've dropped this down now to a new version that doesn't cost XP, that can begin in a starting deck. And it's going to be an event that's fast, doesn't take 1 of your actions. Play it only during your turn. You do not reveal Chaos tokens for the next skill test you perform this turn. It is expensive at 4. But if you want to guarantee the outcome of something, you can pay for this not draw a token at all, and you know what the result is without having to deal with the chaos of the chaos bag. I like it. Very interesting. We've got here a small ally, a mysterious raven that you can discard from play and take one horror to discover a clue at your location. Pretty situational. If you come up against or you are dealing with getting that last clue or two you need to advance, and the place you were trying to get it from has a nasty shroud value, then yeah, you can just let the raven go, pluck that last one, move on. Also, you can just give him the insanity hit. He doesn't even take, he can't even block the health hits against you. So I like that it's very cheap. I like that it's very simple. You can throw this out there. You can think of it as pay one to discover a clue at your location, and that's not so bad. As long as you have your ally slot empty momentarily, you can put this in there, chuck it, immediately get that clue, and then you can put in another ally. Like this one, for example, Granny Orn here. You get +1 to your willpower. When an investigator at your location would fail a skill test, you exhaust this Granny here, and that investigator fails by either one less or one more. Weird, kind of a strange clarification. You don't pass, you're still failing, but you now get to adjust if you failed by more or if you failed by less. The reason for that being, some cards you need to, if you fail by 2 or more, something good happens. If you failed only by 1, you can make something happen. So she is going to allow you to massage that result, even if it is a failure. Okay, we've got here the old key ring. Uses 2 keys. If there are no keys on old key ring, it's going to be discarded. And then you investigate. Your location gets -2 shroud for that investigation. If you succeed, remove 1 key from old keyring. So this is basically, in some ways, a modified flashlight. A classic card in many, many decks. The difference here being, when you use a flashlight, you have to discard one of its uses. You have to. It doesn't matter if you pass, if you failed. Not going to matter. This is going to have the same effect, -2 shroud for that investigation, but you only remove a key from here if you succeed at that investigation. If you still whiff, you get to keep your key. And I like that very much. It's another tool in her arsenal for finding those clues. Here we've got Grit Your Teeth, the final one I'm showing you here from the starter ones in her deck. Fast, play after you fail a skill test. You get +1 to each of your skills for the remainder of the round. And again, this couples very nicely with this right here. Because after you fail, you can take an additional action during your turn. And after you fail, you get +1 to all of these stats. So nice built-in combo. This will definitely be in play if you're playing her. So I like this card a lot. You just, get up and do it again. Now with a little boost. Very nice. And then some cards for deck building, like I said. These are going to cost you XP, and we begin with Unexpected Courage. A card that ends up in pretty much most decks. At least the original one did, because the original one gave you 2 wild symbols. It was a basic card instead of one of these survivor cards. And it would you could do 1 max committed per skill test, just like it says down here. But it was for 2 wild. It could go towards anything. Well, they've now leveled up this card. It's become a survivor card for 2 XP, listed right there. And now the difference is, it's still just 1 per skill test, but if you fail, you put this back in your hand. That is huge. You either pass, or you get the card back. Very interesting, very strong card. Definitely something I could see putting into a survivor deck to give myself that little buffer. Then we've got Lucky, another classic survivor card, leveled up here to 3. Fast, play when an investigator at your location would fail a skill test. They get +3 to their skill value for that test, and they draw a card. So again, this gets in the way of you failing, gives you +3, and then lets you replace this card. It replaces itself. You draw a card. Very good. I like the card Lucky a lot, and this is a leveled up version of that. We've got here Deja Vu, which begins in play. It's a permanent card, hence the no cost. It is 5 XP. And it says, in between two scenarios of a campaign, reduce the experience cost to repurchase up to 3 cards that you exiled during the last scenario by 1 each. This is very much a huge campaign deck building card. This is going to cost you a lot of XP, so you're going to want to hit this early in the cycle of that you are going through. But it lets you, if you are building a deck that has a lot of cards that are exiled after you play them, they're big, splashy, but then they go away, you can rebuy them more cheaply now. This is definitely something that is the most specific thing I've shown in any one of these videos. I just wanted to show it to you to illustrate something that is a complex idea handled simply. I think this card manages to do that well because it requires a lot of different pieces working together. Cards that exile themselves, these cards you put in your deck that do that, and now you can rebuy them at the end of the scenario to go into the next one, but it handles that easily. We've got here another permanent card, Quick Learner, another very expensive one at 4 XP. This one is, during or before your first action of each of your turns, each skill test you perform gets +1 difficulty. Oof. During or after your third action of each of your turns, each skill test you perform gets -1 difficulty. Again, very good because she's taking extra actions, so this goes well with her. Hence the third action, during or after your third action, she's likely to take a 4th if she fails something. And considering now it's going to be a little bit harder, that could happen. So this one is situational. And most of the situation is, which character are you playing that is intending to purchase this card? But splashy, interesting, bizarre, and that artwork is just insane. I really like the artwork. And then lastly, this card is a chainsaw. How am I supposed to not show it? Costs 4 XP to put this in there. It's a 2-handed weapon. You shouldn't operate a chainsaw with a single hand. And then it has 3 supplies as it uses. Action, spend 1 supply, fight. You get +2 and deal +2 damage for this attack. If the attack fails, you either place 1 supply on chainsaw or you deal 1 damage to the attacked enemy. If you fail, you still hit with this card if you want to. Or you take your supply back. You just keep using this thing. This is a heavy-hitting card. +2 damage means if you do hit, you're swinging for 3 damage total. Very great card. I like it a lot. Plus, again, it's a chainsaw, so it's going to make an impression. So there you go. That is Stella Clark, one of the investigators in this cycle of Investigator Starter Decks. I think for me, this is my second favorite from the entire line of these. This is one I would definitely recommend to players just getting into the game. They want to really explore how tests go, drawing from that chaos back, what happens when you win, what happens when you fail a test. She's going to have you come to terms with all of that and how that works, and then just give you ways to manipulate that, allow you to understand sometimes you fail, and now you get a little bonus for that. And just not having to commit everything you've got to every single test, because some tests you can fail and be okay. She's good with that. She's good with those ideas and sort of manipulating that concept to her advantage. So great card, really like it. I love the signature cards, neither rain nor snow for her. Really neat that you get 3 of those. Very much one I enjoy. So again, from the entire cycle, this is my second favorite one. And that's going to do it for this one, folks. Make sure you check out the other videos talking about the other Investigator Starter Decks. But until next time, take care. I'll see you.